What's going on, everyone? It's your guy Cole Jackson back here on Road Graders, brought to you as always by our friends at Profit X, and we are going to be diving into what I think is one of the key matchups for next week's game on Monday against the Detroit Lions. Taking a look at NNAMDI Madubuike and where specifically the Green Bay Packers were able to get some pressure on Jared Goff. We know he struggles with pressure up the middle in his face. So I want to take a look at how did the Packers do it, specifically with their interior line, and how can NNAMDI Madubuike be one of the answers in this game, because beating Sewell, beating Decker, not always the easiest. We're not really getting that production out of our edge rushers. Kyle Van Noy out. I think a lot of this pass rush is going to have to come from NNAMDI Madubuike. Now, before I jump into that, obviously the key to winning this game is going to be the defense stopping the run first. We'll talk about that probably on Sunday, Monday. But I want to focus on this first because I do think Madubuike is the X factor. If you take a look at the Detroit Lions and where the pressure comes from through their first two games, obviously, low sample size, 72 pass snaps, but combined 10 pressures from their interior offensive line and only 4 from their offensive tackles. So that is a obvious mismatch that we can look to exploit. Because we're talking the trenches, my guys at One Bone are sponsoring this video. You can check them out. Use promo code Cole Jackson 15 for 15% off. Click the link down below. Go check out One Bone. Awesome clothes. I'm wearing one of their shirts right now. Absolutely love everything they put together. Let's get into the film. And so what I want to start, and also usually on Thursdays and Fridays, I get more of my regular watchers. I'm trying some different presentation things. I'm trying to avoid the copyright strikes. I'm trying to up the presentation. Please drop a comment down below. Let me know if this is working better. Let me know if you like the old format. Let's try and work this out. So I'm going to try this new format where we've got my little head down there in the corner. It looks a little freaky, but we'll give it a go. We'll give it a go. So we're going to dive in here, and what we're going to focus on first is mostly how the Packers got pressure, and why I see, just through 2 weeks, I've seen them do it, and I've seen Madubuike get pressure in a similar way. Okay. So we're going to start here focusing on 96 on the interior defensive line of the Packers. So you're going to see right there that speed to power conversion. And that's really where this defensive line struggles the most from my view, is when guys can convert speed to power, they can push that pocket. And it really is such a valuable tool, because if you can push them, push them back, get into their face, you can really collapse that pocket. And that's where that pressure up the face comes from. That's where you can start to do some of those great things that impacts the quarterback beyond just sacks and pressures and that sort of thing. So as you can see here, 96 is going to get into what I would call almost a hump motion, where he's going to kind of ride that inside hip and just drive back. And you see him right into Goff. He releases into his check down there. Not too bad, but still impactful. Now we check Luke Van Ness here going against 73. And again, you see right down and creates that sack. So this is where, the Packers do a good job, because they got Micah Parsons, they got Rashawn Gary, so they can get an edge rusher like Lucas Van Ness. This is what I've been interested in doing with Tavius Robinson. You get Mike Green outside, you get Odafe Owe outside, you put Tavius Robinson right here as a 4-eye technique inside the inside leg of the offensive tackle, and have him just kind of pedal down, because what that does is it's going to pull 73 out into his kick step, and that's where he can convert speed to power. And look at him just drive Glasgow back right into the sack. So that's something that I think the Ravens need to really think about as an opportunity. But now that's kind of 2 reps right there from the Packers, where we got 2 different guys converting speed to power. That's something that, as we'll see here in a minute, Madubuike absolutely has in his bag. Let's keep rolling here. We're going to focus on the right guard, Tate Ratledge. He's their rookie. And so we're going to see Javon Dexter right there. Same thing. Nice power move. You're going to see what I want you to focus on when he comes out. He's going to take his inside right arm. He's going to drive it into the inside left armpit and then create that leverage right there. You see him drive up, and then he brings his outside arm up with a rip. So again, speed to power conversion. Now we take a look at where NNAMDI Madubuike has won this year and some of the good things he's done. So we're going to see him on the left side of the line going against the left guard. See him right there. Looks very similar. He wins that rep right there. Very similar to what we saw from from Devontae Wyatt against the right guard. So you're going to see him get that outside arm right up in there. So as soon as he gets into this position, he has that right hand right up into the armpit, the outside armpit of the left guard. And by doing that, he's creating that leverage. Pad level stays low, and he's just driving through that inside hand. As soon as you're able to lift up on that, take away all their leverage, all he has left is leg power. Tough position for an offensive guard to be put in. And you see him just get driven back into Josh Allen's lap, throwaway there, or incomplete pass, but nothing was able to develop. So Madubuike does a really good job of creating these types of looks, and it's definitely something that I think we just saw the Packers be able to do it. This is definitely something Madubuike can do in this game. You can see him on the left side of the D line here. Same idea. He's just going to drive the right guard back. This is just pure bull rush. And again, he's going to work that inside hand right into that inside armpit. And that's where he's creating that leverage, because those offensive guards, they want to stay heavy on their inside to protect that inside hand. So if he can create that leverage, get his pad level nice and low, and get that inside hand up into the inside armpit. So his right hand, in this case, into the left armpit of the offensive guard. And then he's just driving, and you see him drive right back into Josh Allen's kitchen. And, Josh Allen's you're not going to see the scramble looks that we saw from a guy like Josh Allen from Jared Goff. It's just, we're talking two different types of athletes here, and that's why being able to collapse his pocket. Obviously, they need to stop the run first. That goes without saying. We need to keep them out of their play action sets, but there will be times where they need to drop back and be a true pass set team, and this is where we need Madubuike to be able to do this. Against the Browns here, he's on the left side going against the right guard. Same idea here, just driving through, swatting, and then getting the sack against Joe Flacco. See him again here. Left side, he's going to drive through the right guard this time. And, that's when Tavius Robinson comes in and knocks that ball out. So that's definitely a big piece of this. It's going to be that speed to power conversion. We saw the Packers with, Devontae Wyatt's a good player. NNAMDI Madubuike is a better player. Truly believe that. Devontae Wyatt's ascending, but I think Madubuike is already where Devontae Wyatt wants to be. He did it to these guards. We need Madubuike to be that difference maker on 3rd and long, on 2nd and long, those obvious passing downs where they're dropping into true drop back sets. You get into some of the things that they were able to create with stunts. So that's what we'll see in these next few plays. You're going to see them kind of run a bizarre little interior mesh work. Interior mesh work from their, they got 3 down linemen with 2 edges. So they're going to create a little bit of a mess on the inside, and they're able to pop out and get some pressure there. Gets it complete, but you can see the pressure coming up into his face. But these stunts worked really well. You can see 96 and 94 run a nice little stunt there for the sack. And this is something we've seen the Ravens have success with. So you start here with 2 4-eye techniques. So they're on the inside. 96 and 94 are both on the inside legs of the offensive tackles. You got 2 A bluff gaps here, or 2 A mud gaps from the linebackers, and you're going to see them run that wide. And you see the right guard chasing, and then he's not ready for the looper from 94 because he's chasing, and he ends up just completely destroying him, crossing his face. So that's the type of athletic difference that they can create, and that's what Madubuike's done really well. Usually you see the Ravens running these stunts with tackle and an edge rather than the 2 tackles, but they've been very effective still this year at creating that. So you see right here, Madubuike is going to be the penetrate guy, and Mike Green's going to loop. So he's just going to drive up through there. Mike Green's going to come around, but it flushes out, and then Madubuike gets into the chase. So the Ravens definitely have experience creating that type of pressure with stunts. Worked really well against this interior line. They seemed a little bit of loss. I've been reading kind of around at some of the Packers film guys, said that the offensive line had a lot of issues with communication. Stunts would be a really good way of attacking them. They got a 2nd-year guard in Christian Mahogany, who I think he's battling through injury. I'd have to go check the injury report. And then they got a rookie in Tate Ratledge. So 2 guys filling in for Kevin Zeitler, who obviously is not in Detroit anymore. And who's the other guy? Jonah Jackson that left. So they're kind of replacing those guards. So I think getting, just as much as the Ravens are always seeking to get some of that chemistry on the offensive line, I think the Detroit Lions are as well. Now, before we dive into our last few plays here, as a reminder, this channel is always brought to you by our friends at ProfitX. You can see up here. This is my play this weekend. I'm going at that Green Bay money line, or that Green Bay spread. I know it's a big spread, but I'm absolutely hammering it against Cleveland. I think this D-line is going to absolutely destroy the tackles of the Browns. I don't know how they score. And after what the Ravens just did on the deep passing game, I don't know how the Packers or how the Browns defense is going to stop them. Much better offensive line performance as well from the Packers in recent weeks than the Ravens. So that really limits where the Browns were able to attack where the Browns are able to attack the Ravens. So go check out ProfitX. If you go over there, use promo code RoadGraders, you'll get up to $200 cash back in profit cash. So go check it out. Good friends over there. Thanks for sponsoring. Keep rolling here. You're going to see some of these stunts that the Ravens have run. So you're going to see on the right side, there's Owe and Madubuike, and this is where Madubuike got a sack, right? So this is kind of a mixture of the two things we've been talking about. So Owe is going to come inside from as the looper, but Madubuike works that gear into Dion Dawkins and just speed to power through him. So this is definitely this is an area that I think they can really exploit. Right side of the line here, you get Madubuike lined up as a 4-tech. Going to run another one here. Right there. Kyle Van Noy comes around. This is actually where he hurt his hamstring. So as Van Noy comes around, great penetration here from Madubuike. He's able to draw those two defenders, and then he gets out there on the quarterback hit. And that's really what is such a plus thing about him. He's got that plus athleticism that even when he is the penetrate guy where he's trying to draw that double team, he can still use his motor and drive. And if they get the offensive line miscommunicating, he can still make plays after he's kind of set that pick for the looper to come inside. So a lot there kind of for them to use, something that has been successful against them, and I think the Ravens are going to have to go to. Just want to show a couple of the athletic ways that the Packers beat the Lions too. See 94 right there. Interior cross chop, nasty move. So as 94 is going to approach here, this is a common theme. They're getting these guards out in their kick step. That's what the Packers did. It's what I want to see the Ravens do. I want to see Anise Peebles out wide, and I want to see Madubuike out wide on the same play. I don't want to see a constant 1-tech in the game on pass downs. Get these guards out in space, and you can see right here, look at the center. The center is going to shade so far over to the right because they're going to match Devontae Wyatt. And so that creates this massive one-on-one opportunity on the backside for 94's name is escaping me. That's annoying. For 94 to be able to hit this cross chop, have no interior blocker, and that's what he does right there. And that's where, it disrupts Goff. Again, he gets the ball out to his check down, but we've seen Madubuike be able to do this. Here he's lined up on the edge, and you're just going to see him attack Spencer Brown. There's that exact same type of cross chop. Josh Allen able to escape, but like I said, much different quarterback coming to town for this one. So that's really one of the key pieces that I see in this game. I really think the Ravens can exploit this from the Detroit Lions. Get those offensive guards out in their kick steps, get them out in space, take out the 1-tech. I know it's a little crazy. I'm not trying to disrespect Travis Jones. He's going to make his plays. He's going to be extremely important on first down because stopping the run, getting them out of their kind of play action and what they do on crossers with Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, and all those guys that they have. I think that's a key. I think this game is going to be won in the first quarter where, the game script is going to really matter. If they have the Lions into drop back sets constantly, it really is an advantage for the Ravens. As much as we've been disappointed with their edge rushers, I do think they can get an interior rush against these guards. And I talked about this last week with the tackles, though. I thought the Ravens edge rushers would attack those tackles, and it didn't come to fruition. So definitely a fair point if you don't trust me on that one. But NNAMDI Madubuike, a lot more proven than guys like Owe, guys like Green, who just didn't get it done last week. So that's really the mismatch I see. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the new format. Let me know what you guys think about this matchup. And as always, hit that like button. Hit subscribe if you're new here. Thank you to our friends at ProfitX for sponsoring this video.